One second. One second. Welcome back to International Rugby. Welcome back to the fans, and welcome back to the Scrum. We're going to be having a look at all of the best of this past weekend's action. Look ahead to what is going to be a cracker of a weekend in the Autumn Nation series. We'll be wrapping up all things social media, and best of all, we'll be hearing what you, the fans, have had to say. Let's go check it out.
Just pinballs his way.
So let's have a look back at what transpired in weekend one of the Autumn Nation series. And yes, we were treated to an absolute show. What a phenomenal way to get the autumn started. And as great as the rugby was, as phenomenal as the tries were that we got to see, how beautiful was it to see the fans back in the stadium roaring for their respective teams. Wales were without a wealth of experience, and that All Black machine just looks unstoppable at the moment. And a guy who has been unstoppable, not only for the Crusaders, but for the All Blacks, has been Will Jordan. And when you score tries that involve such phenomenal individual brilliance, I mean, you potentially want to ask, does he even need teammates? But Will Jordan, 16 tries in only 11 test matches on an international stage. That is something to behold. And do you think he's only getting started? Having made his debut back in 2012, many were of the opinion that he would have to bide his time in the wings behind the irreplaceable Daniel Carter. But Beauden Barrett, fast forward 9 years, has become a true legend in his own right. Richie McCaw, Kevin Mialamu, Sam Whitelock, Kieran Reid, Daniel Carter. What a list to be a part of. And not only did Beauden Barrett become the 11th Test centurion for the All Blacks, he did it in the most insane man of the match performance ever. 2 scintillating intercept tries, which, to be honest, I'm extremely proud of, but it had vision, it had skill, and it had raw pace.
An interception try.
Rico Ione, is Beauden Barrett potentially quicker than you? Even with all those Welsh supporters singing harmoniously at the Principality, it was a rather unfortunate afternoon. Big Alwyn Jones getting injured again in the first few minutes of the game and having to leave the field. Captain Courageous will hopefully be back sooner rather than later. Out wide, Johnny McNichol shows some really incredible touches, deft touches that will hopefully, give youngsters like Lewis Reed-Sammer just that little push. And over at Murrayfield, it was Scotland who showed exactly how to use home ground advantage. In his first start in a Scotland jersey, it was Kyle Steyn scoring not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 tries on debut. That is insane. Rufus McLean, another extremely talented youngster that's got given the nod under Gregor Townsend, has shown that he looks extremely comfortable on the international stage. And for many of us who think Cheslin Colby can step, that step is something that will go down in the memory books.
Look how much it means to this Tongan side.
Setafano, absolutely brilliant to be chatting to you. Unfortunately, a pretty tough loss to Scotland this weekend.
Yeah, first time playing in front of big crowd, but I was very excited for the game against Scotland. Plus, the crowd was very respectful for us, so we really enjoyed. It's a very good opportunity for all of the players.
I got to play against Tonga in 2007 at the World Cup, and I just think the physicality, the ferocity, it was literally the bounce of a ball. It could have maybe been the bigger upset than us losing to Japan in 2015. But I think for you and the boys, how important is it
go out and represent the jersey, and sort of lay a precedent against the tier 1 nations to sort of inspire your nation?
Yeah, I think all of the boys, especially us grew up in Tonga. Wherever you go around the world, Tonga is always in you. You represent Tonga, whatever you do.
There's a massive UN climate change conference currently on the go, and we have just seen the player support with regards to the climate change issue happening in Tonga. For you as players, how important is it to have the platform and really make the world notice and realize what is happening, and how we all need to play our part trying to prevent this hectic thing that is climate change at the moment?
We took on this role to represent as much as we possibly could, because, for example, like if you look at what's happening in the world, Malachi Fekitoa, the village he comes from, where I was in that village about 2 months ago, that will be gone by 2040 if things keep going the way it is. And we can't ignore what's happening. I'm sure things are happening in South Africa as well. So, for example, in the Hapai, the group of islands there, more than 50% of them will be gone by 2040 if we don't do something. So the boys are really happy to take that on. So it's a fantastic opportunity for us to get the message out there.
Is there a message that you, or a word of support that you want to give to your Tongan fans around the world?
Okay.
I just
Tongan, in Tongan.
You can do it in Tongan. Please do it in Tongan if you feel comfortable, hey?
eu fui tarat pege ko popo ko tape o no support te me ka tahi ko mo fa ke ta ko to po mo fa ko mo le ta e mo ke mi e mo boy ha ki tai mo preparation ni no ko ke te ya excuse ko ha mo le ta fa ko ki uba nga kon hanga ko me mo ke official to ni
Malo. Yeah, Setafano, thank you very much. Wishing you and the boys all the best for the rest of the Autumn Nation series. Keep on doing the jersey proud. Keep on doing the country proud, and thank you for playing with your hearts. I'm going to see who between me and you can grow the moustache a little bit better over Movember.
Malo, Brian, and thanks for the opportunity to have an interview with you. Grew up in Tonga. I was watching you on the TV and I was a big fan of yours. It's an honor to be with you.
Malo, my friend. I appreciate that. Malo.
So now let's go have a look back at what's happened on social media over the course of the last 7 days as players and fans alike have reacted to the start of the Autumn Nation series. He has only recently, less than 2 weeks ago, joined the Twitter world, but Rutseho Faditswe Nche, more commonly known as Ox, was the talk of the Twitterverse last weekend. His content was brilliant. His replies were something to behold, keeping all fans engaged and giving us some beautiful tidbits of how normal he actually is. Meanwhile, on Instagram, Dan Carter gave us some throwback gold thanks to, I'm not going to spoil it. If you haven't seen it, take a look at this.
Pick up the awesome Vortex Mega Hella. Hey Dan, catch this.
Hey Dan, catch this.
Yeah. Feel the power.
Feel the power. Yeah.
And then we had Molly doing the haka. And true to fashion, we had the Tongan fans bringing the spirit. So yes, it is the autumn, it is November, or more commonly known for a lot of rugby players traveling up north. Movember. This is like 3 days in. Pretty impressive. What are we going to see this month? Handlebars, the commander, chin strips. What are we going to see? Let's keep a track of all things Movember. That actually raises awareness for a really important cause. And in other big news, the Autumn Nation Series Fantasy League starts this week. Sign up on the link below and be sure to join my league. And if you're around on Friday, go check out the Autumn Nation Series TikTok channel because I will be selecting my team live and I'm definitely wanting to win it. We have a huge weekend ahead. A lot of things to discuss and I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. So make sure you comment. Talking point number 1 for me, New Zealand go back after an emphatic victory against Wales to the top of the world ranking stakes. As players, do world rankings mean much? Of course they do. You want to be the best team in the world and you want to be a part of the best team in the world, which means as a player, your effort, your sacrifice, your dedication has to come to the fore. So yes, it definitely means number 1 status is extremely important. Talking point number 2. Is this potentially the start of the Marcus Smith era within that England camp? Eddie Jones has left out stalwart George Ford. Marcus Smith has had a phenomenal 24 months, guiding Harlequins to that premiership title early in the year, then getting his feet wet with that England side in the summer and capping it off, getting included into that British and Irish Lions side and showing how impressive he actually is. With Owen Farrell next to him, a bit of tutelage, this surely can be the start of a long international career. Right, lastly, for this weekend, 6 games across the Autumn Nation Series. Are you expecting a shock somewhere or an upset? I think in one of those 6 games, we could potentially see one. Gregor Townsend has been doing something really special within that Scotland camp. Kyle Steyn, 4 tries last weekend. The Wallabies without some big name players. Can Scotland do something special at Murrayfield? And now let's look ahead to this weekend where there is a number of massive games happening in the Autumn Nation Series. Let's look ahead to Wales, South Africa. So the Springboks' recent travels to the Principality have unfortunately ended up in defeat, losing 4 times on their last 4 appearances. And given the fact that they beat Wales in that semi-final at Rugby World Cup in 2019, Siya Kolisi and his troopers will be looking to turn the tide on a Welsh side that will be looking to bounce back from that heavy defeat against the All Blacks. Scotland versus Australia. When these 2 teams meet, we are always in for some proper entertainment. A few Australian big name players will unfortunately not be showing face across the Autumn Nation Series, and that might give Scotland a little bit of impetus to go one better and get the W. And let's now turn our attention to Ireland against Japan, and who can forget that incredible game at Rugby World Cup 2019 where the Brave Blossoms proved exactly what a force they are to be reckoned with. Building on what happened in 2015, don't look now, Springboks. But the Brave Blossom proved exactly how good they are, and they're going to come to Dublin wanting to do exactly the same. For Ireland though, Johnny Sexton, 100th Test cap for the men in green. How great is it to see him leading the Irish across the autumn? And that's only previewing 3 of the 6 games this weekend. Remember, we've got England against Tonga, Italy against New Zealand, and France against Argentina. A massive weekend of Autumn Nation Series. And just a quick heads up before we sign off that throughout the month, you stand a chance to win some awesome Autumn Nation Series merch. Just like this insanely cool hoodie. And to do that, I'd love you to go check out all the Autumn Nation Series social media channels, upload your photos and videos with the hashtag Autumn Nation Series, and you could be in it to win hoodies, caps, water bottles, face masks. So don't miss out. And that's it for this weekend's episode of the Scrum. So don't forget to follow us on all things Autumn Nation Series across social media. Upload your photos, get involved, tell us what your thoughts are, but most importantly, go out there and support your teams. Check you next week.